Alright folks, welcome back to Moonshine Radio. Today we're going to make a double sideband transmitter. Now making a double sideband transmitter for voice is frankly a horrible idea because the oscillators won't be in sync and the audio will sound like shit. But one thing that the double sideband transmitter will be really good for is for making a simple spectrum image transmitter. Basically, we're going to make M of T. We're going to use MATLAB or whatever software. A link below this video will show how I made this audio file, in which we're calling M of T. And we're going to simply multiply it by a mixer, multiply it by this cosine signal, and we're going to take this audio spectrum and shift it up to 7200 kilohertz. And we'll get into all the details of how we did that. Okay folks, here's the idea. We've got an audio jack, 3.5 millimeter jack. We're just using the left channel. And we're going to put that to the I port of the mixer. And down here is going to be the signal generator at 1700 kilohertz. And we're just going to put that to an antenna. It will be not much power, but you'll get the effect. And remember, the L port there has got to be plus 7 dBm. Now let's get in a little bit of what the mixer I used and what signal generator I used. Alright, here's the mixer. This is an ADE-6, or you can use an ADE-1 mixer, quite cheap. And how I marked it is the I and the L and the R ports. They may say in or out, but ignore that. All you're really looking for is what's called the IF port, what's the L port, and what's the RF port. And if you follow my little blue marker there, that's the diagram you want to follow when you're following all my little block diagrams. Now what you're also going to need is this little adapter. This is an SMA male to a BNC female, and this is a BNC male to a RCA female. And that's how we're going to get the audio signal into the I port of this mixer. Alright, here's the cable. Obviously this end goes into your smartphone, and this is the side we're going to put into the I port of the mixer. And you can see I got the little adapters here. Again, this is RCA, so it's RCA female to BNC male, and BNC male, and then there's the other adapter which is BNC female to SMA male. And this guy will connect to that mixer. You can use either channel, left or right, it doesn't really matter, so we're just picking one channel. We're not using any kind of IQ, so we don't need left, right, any of that nonsense. It's just one audio file. We're simply going to take the output of this, put it to the I port of the mixer, and shift this signal, or this spectrum, up to 7200 kilohertz. Now, here's the real cheap Chinese signal generator. This is what we'll be using to make the LO. There's many of these. The FY9100 is a good one. And if you want to stay under 20 megahertz or so, these things are easily under $100. So these are real cheap LOs, and these are what I use to make the LO. Well, all we need is one port, so that's channel 1 there. And when I'm showing my diagram that I want 7 dBm, you got to set the voltage, or the voltage peak to peak on this thing, to be 3.2. And the reason is that this device shows what's called the open circuit voltage. So when you put this output on a 50 ohm load, it's not really getting 3.2 volts peak to peak, it's really half of that. So if you want the output of this guy to be 7 dBm or 8 dBm, you want to set the voltage peak to peak here to be 3.2 volts peak to peak. Alright? And then obviously you set the frequency. So you set the frequency to 7200 kilohertz. Got that, folks? Alright, so here's some good DDS signal generators you guys can get on eBay or Fleabay or Amazon. One of them, like I said, is the Foxtrot Yankee 6900. That's a real cheap sine wave generator. You can also get the PSG, I think it's a 9080. Juntech, or whatever the heck Chinese name made it. And anyway, both these guys, if you want 7 or 8 dBm on the output, you have to set the voltage peak to peak to be 3.2. Now, I know it says it's 3.2, but like I said, because you're putting this thing into a 50 ohm load, what you're really getting is 3.2 divided by 2, okay? And if you do the math, you'll see that 3.2 divided by 2 is somewhere in the ballpark of 7 or 8 dBm, which is what we want to drive the LO side of that mixer. Alright? Keeping it all simple for you folks. Alright, so just to remind you what we're doing again, a spectrum file we made in MATLAB, GNU, or Python. Again, a link below this video to see how you can make this audio file. And we're simply feeding it into the mixer with the SideBand at +7, and it's going out the antenna there, and you'll see all the spectrum art going out. Now, if you don't want to radiate it, that's fine. You can just put like a 50 or 60 dB pad here, and then put that right into your SDR, and when you look at the waterfall, you'll see this spectrum. Alright, I think I did enough blabbing now. I'll show you the demonstration of this. Again, if you want how to make the audio file, there's a link below the video. Go to GitHub, steal it, use it, say you made it. I don't give two shits. Anyway, this is Moonshine Radio. Thanks for watching.